Hello everyone and welcome to another game of Wargame Red Dragon. This one is well overdue. I promise you I've not dropped back to Captain all of a sudden between yesterday and today. This is in fact not 1 week old, not 2 weeks old, not even 4 weeks old, but several months old. And it is a game I have to show you guys because it was the definition of a game on Mudfight. And by the way, my hat's off to the Sergeant Challenger for a wonderful game and a soul-crushing initial engagement, and certainly engagements throughout the game as well, in Delta, Alpha, everything like that. This was truly a case of just honestly being outplayed, especially at the start. So I have a 2A5NL. We are taking armored decks against each other on this mudfight match. UK armored against Dutch armored, so I have, only Dutch units here, the Verkenning, the YPRs, of course, for fire support, and AMX Breeze for just Natra and 3 frontal armor boxes. But this is going to go up against things like Warrior Milans, where they have ATGMs that can zone things out a little bit better than my units can. It's going to be a rough time, and my 2A5 and Verkenning need to be providing a lot of support. So we have identified a Stormer, and right there, we caught just a glimpse of my opponent's armor, and it's not one tank, but 2. And that immediately has me thinking, if I recall back in this game here all these months ago, yeah, this is going to be a bit of an issue. Because on the one hand, if you took something like a Challenger 1 Mark 1 or Mark 3 or even Mark 2, it's not the biggest deal. My 2A5 can sort of live in this smoke, can bop forward, backwards. I have some good progress here with these Natra, but if it's anything heavier, there's going to be trouble. And then, more to the point, to be honest, I completely underestimated the Warrior Milans. So take a look at this. These guys have Milan F2s, 45% accuracy, and 24 AP, and they have the will to use it. 1, 2, 3 right there, Challenger 2s. Right, so more super heavies than I can match. I'm backing away, trying to create space. Down goes my Verkenning. So now, because of this, Challenger has fire support on the town. I have nothing but Natra that aren't even in position, and my 2A5 has to retreat. That is Delta lost right there in not very long at all. So yeah, I mean, we're 2.5 minutes in. This is just, hey, I took an upvetted super heavy to this fight. Okay, that's cool, bro. He took 2 upvetted super heavies to this fight. Goodness gracious sakes alive. And yeah, there are going to be more things that weren't in his opener because of it. But honestly, it didn't really seem to make that much of an impact because tools like my Escort, my H64 Escort, I lost over here on the left-hand side to a British Stormer. And then my other Stoottroopen are just here to, I guess, have some presence in Alpha. I don't quite remember what I was thinking there, but it wasn't anything good. So at this point, because I am Dutch as well, my only ATGMs are things like the YPR 765 Prat, because of course you do just get the Super Dragon and Dragon launchers as the Dutch, which is a little bit underwhelming. And I was trying to get a cheeky shot in at these warriors, but I mean, they're too far away. I'm being zoned by the ATGM on 3 Warrior Milans that haven't even moved in about 2 minutes, maybe even a little bit more. So truly just bullied by the British here, bullied by the British indeed. As they have ATGMs, my YPR gets shot by one of those, and then the Challenger 2, and I don't quite know what to do, right? So I've brought in a 2A5NL. I thought, okay, at least I'll match those Challenger 2s pound for pound for tanks, but I'm not even sure that really does it. So if you take a look, I have 22 front, 23 AP. The Challenger 2s, of course, have 23 frontal armor, so particularly when I don't have support here, and 22 AP, so yeah, I guess that sort of balances out a little bit. Yeah, because we're both panning for 1 at max range, yeah. I don't know, it's certainly tricky, so, oh goodness gracious. At this point we see another interesting thing, Centurion Avers coming in, and my erstwhile opponent is moving into Alpha. He's not letting me rest and recover and build up a second push here to go into the town again. Instead, he wants to spread the board over to Alpha, where all I have are Stoottroopen. This is a really nice play, just not letting me rest, not letting me recover, not giving me another chance back into the game in the first couple of minutes, like people sometimes do, where you see, okay, well, I took this town, now I'll just wait for you, and granted, some people have just really cautious play, and sometimes it works out really well, but I quite like this. When you are up on trading, when you know it, and you clap your hands, no, sorry, when you're up on trading and everything is going well for you, just put the pedal to the metal. Make your opponent not have the time to build up their own push to come back. 'Cause I have to defend here. I can't lose all of Alpha. It's just too much. It's too much too fast. Another interesting thing too, these are base warriors, which are a little bit goofy of a choice. The Rarden isn't exactly amazing. Those things have 70 km/h off-road. So you see these warriors, you see these IFVs, and you think to yourself, okay, well, they're moving slowly across the open ground here. That's, I mean, it's not lightning quick, but that's pretty quick. Oh, sorry, 75. Goodness gracious, that's fast. Yeah. I have a UK mech deck for team games just for that reason, by the way. Base warriors are hilarious. They're, you know, they're not amazing, they're not great at killing power, but they can certainly provide 3 frontal armor, fast-moving bodies to the front, and then you have the outvetted Warrior 90 Milans that provide that sort of fire support. So we're going to go a little bit faster here at 2, as this is a long game, and there's not a lot of combat going on right now. I was sitting there thinking, okay, well, Foxtrot, I have no flanking recon, my Huzaren were killed over here. That's sort of an issue. I have really no recon forward here. That's sort of an issue. My Huzaren maybe not in the best position, which is also sort of an issue. I have no ATGMs overlooking this section, so these scimitars can just move right up without any trouble. And by the way, shout out to Bikefish, who is on the Bootcamp Discord. If you see this, if you're watching this, then in that case, I have to call these scimitars. So, anyway. Oh, goodness gracious. So, what we have here at the moment is just an infantry build-up backed by double 2A5NL over on this side of Alpha. And one mistake here that you can kind of see in the making is my 2A5NLs, they don't have the world's best autonomy here. And they fought in Delta, they moved back over, they've been moving up and back through the woods a little bit. And I'm at the halfway mark for fuel, which is never a good thing. So, yeah, we're going to have to bring supply over. The fact I don't have it already coming over is a problem. Also, losing the MX-13 for free is a problem, and this is the result of Challenger not giving me space to breathe. So I expected to be able to move up maybe into this belt, and then get my fire support online, and then get these guns online, everything like that, but to be honest, the Warriors are doing just fine. They're pounding in, they're killing YPRs, they're damaging all of my infantry, everything here is panicked, it's not performing well, and even just those with the, I mean, especially with the CEV behind it, yeah, I mean, it's really rough. Really, really rough. Yeah, Centurion Aver, not CEV, but bam, look at that. Jeez, goodness gracious sakes alive. It's such a goofy gun, but honestly, in an armored deck where you have to eventually take a woods fight, seems pretty nice. GR7 following up just to not give me any more space at all. And I was really hoping that the Hawk Pips would have gotten a kill there, right? 4 shots, 1 hit, right at the end of the time, no crit. That plane does get out, it's a little bit upsetting. But, you know, such is life, and we gotta rebuild the push again. I've lost too many YPRs, my 2A5s moved up, engaged, moved back to stay safe, but now I'm down to a third of my fuel tank. So I can do that maybe 1 more time, maybe 2 more times tops before it becomes a really big problem. Also, wasted rocket pods in the escort, you see those are turned off now, but that's a little bit late for the micro there, and Challenger is once again not giving me space on another section of the map. Huzaren versus Territorials in an FU-432. Goofily enough or not, the Territorials will probably win that in a vacuum, although I don't really know. Yeah, Territorials, militia can't really fight at all. It's a little goofy. So, I mean, where would you rotate? Looking at this right now, my question to you is where would you rotate? And do you think there's even going to be any give or take left in this match? Is there a way for me to come back in? If so, what would it be? And if you have an idea for that, leave it in the comments. At the time, I was very much stretched for ideas, didn't quite know what to do. We're starting to buy other things like 2A4NLs. I thought maybe I'll just stack elite tanks as close as I can here and not throw as close as I can here, and then just have more tank guns, but I don't know, it wasn't really working out too well thus far. I mean, I'm losing more Stu Troopa 90 to just Territorials and boxes and things like that. We're, you know, poking up here, getting a shot in or two, but that's the Challenger 2s right there. And there's more Chieftains behind it, which ordinarily Chieftains, not that threatening of a prospect, but here, it's way to fire, and it's working, and it's really quite nice. So, before I forget, Challenger, by the way, has done something really cool for the channel as well. He is getting me pictures off of, I believe, War Thunder for new thumbnails. So previously I sort of used just Google images for different things, and I try and match the nationality to whatever I have going on here, but sometimes it's tough to do because the resolution on things I like doesn't really match very well, or it's not the specific unit, because it's kind of hard to do that all the time, especially with more niche things. But with War Thunder and looking at the exact unit and getting some combat footage there, I think we have the opportunity for some really cool thumbnails, so I'm excited to see those. The first one should be up for this very video, so that thumbnail you clicked on today to watch this, that is as a result of Challenger doing that for me, because I of course don't play War Thunder, it's not my cup of tea. and it does take a lot of time as well to get into, but yeah, very grateful for that help. So we have basically Alpha Push round 2 on the way here. We're going to go up to Speed 2 again while it comes up, and I think I purchased too many reservists, but it's an interesting thing. I don't have bodies up here, I can't push. I do have bodies up here, they're not really able to fight. It was a bit of a catch-22, and I really felt the... you won't hear this all the time. I really felt the efficiency of the warrior fire support line, because even just Rardens in high enough numbers is really brutal, and the Centurion Avers and things like that, there was enough stacked cheap fire support that I couldn't really get my own tanks to be working that quickly. And here's another thing as well, so the Dutch only have the 15-point DAF YA4440 Vracht as their most expensive resupply, and you really feel the difference. The Munkat 1, I believe, has 90 km/h off-road. That might be the HLVW. Well, no, that's the same truck. That might be the Hempt. It's either 70 or 90, I think. And the slow speed of 50 km/h through the woods really hurt. Like, I'd expected this. Okay, well, we got it going through here. We get up there. I'd expected it to already be refueling my 2A5s, and it wasn't, because this just... And the longer you're moving through the woods like this, the more crits you have. I'm stuck in the mud now. This stuff is just going really poorly, and I can't get my resupply over there. So since then, I basically never use less than 20-point resupply trucks now, and this game is the reason why. It was the motivator for that. So if you ever see me just not using 15s or 10s or things like that, it's because sometimes you need a resupply in the woods, and this just sucked. I mean, even the AMX Prees are there first because they have 65, and it makes that big of a difference that we actually feel it right now in the game, making a difference. No, I do have good idea here. The Territorials are not going to be making their presence known in the town any day soon, but we are nearly kind of ish ready for round 2 here. I was actually right-clicking and dragging, spreading this stuff out, which, I don't know, maybe not the best idea. It's a little homogenous and not really, like, I don't know, human wave tactics. Round 2, here we go, 2A5s behind it. I have the Elite 2A4 up here as well, of course the 2A4NL, 145-point version of that tank, and right away, I mean, yeah, we're getting some good kills, we're getting shots off in the Chieftain Mark V. That thing, surprisingly heavy armor, especially for the point cost, but, you know, we're getting some kills here, and this was a big issue. So the GR7 made me retreat. I just barely got out of it alive, so the 2A5NLs, yeah, I mean, it's only showing me one for some reason. That's a little bit bugged. But, yeah, that was really brutal. These guys are nearly dead. They're nearly out of fuel. 121 out of 1,200 liters of fuel left. And I continued the attack when I shouldn't have, because now those Challenger 2s, yeah, that's going to be a really bad day. I also don't quite know why we didn't shoot in on the Challenger 2 here, the 2A4NL first, but bam, 1-2 punch right there, close enough that my 2A4NL became a 145-point, ouch, that's a dead buy. So, at this point, I'm buying the Dutch cluster bombers, which, if you ever find yourself buying the Dutch cluster bombers, I think it's clear to say it's been not the best day in Wargame ever. And yeah, we did get a little bit of a ping there, nearly kill a Challenger 2, but it's not that many bombs. So even though they have relatively high AP from the cluster, it's a little underwhelming sometimes. And I thought to myself, okay, well, maybe he's been buying entirely into here. I'm certainly behind on trading, but maybe we can get something done. So I'm moving up Stutz, Natra, everything like that toward this section of town. Leopard Verkenning pushing in as well, and I thought, okay, maybe I can cut off that resupply line, but everything here is dead. Oh my goodness gracious, look at that. Sutroopin used all their AT4s, there's only 9 of them left as well. I have 2 groups of Natra not really doing anything, and Warrior Milans. These same 3 Warrior Milans from the beginning of the game just dunking on my chances of recovery, and it was certainly very goofy. Another thing I think that I really lacked here was enough artillery support, even mortar support, things like that. So Stormer HVMs, 1 top armor. You can get picks on these with enough mortars, which would be very nice. It's a 75-point buy that I'd be forcing Challenger to either do again or not have air defense, at least not in that area, because of course UK national air defense is rather limited, I'd say. I think that's a fair descriptor. Why is it still showing me 1? I remember this during the game as well. It was like, is this actually here? I don't know. Is there 1? Is there 2? Yeah, very strange. Very, very strange. But I was hoping to get a pick finally on those Warrior Milans, just moving AMX Prees up. Here we go. Boom, boom. 1 shot. And do we have 2 or do we have 1? Who knows? I think just 1, honestly. I think it was modeling it. Oh, no. Yeah, 1, 2. There it is. So finally we take down those guys. Block 10 of course is now unnecessary because it was already dead on the ground. That's a really big problem. You can't afford to waste points like that or time like that, because even though that plane got out, it's now on cooldown. So I've spent the points for that plane, and it's not really available. Excuse me, sorry, I've been having a lot of trouble clearing my throat lately. I don't really know why. Yeah, sorry about that. And I don't have it with me to right now hit this Stormer or the Chieftain Mark 10. And this guy it's a 3 top armor tank. It's probably not going to die from just the Dutch cluster plane, but at least I could force my opponent back here. He's been ticking +2 for a little while. We do of course have the Block 15 OCU that was intended to go in there and take out that CV. Instead, I lose the OCU, and that really hurts. Plus there's another ATGM here, and the grand push back into Delta is not successful. Another reason for that, by the way, is my 2A5s still over in the wrong position. If I really wanted to do this, I should have waited, should have gotten the 2A5s over, but it's hard to wait when your opponent's ticking +2 on Mudfight. This is a really tough feeling. So I bought a CV, it's in here, and it's spotted, because even though it is... Oh no, never mind, it's just barely not in the woods there. Yeah, I thought it was in the woods, dang. Yeah, so we're moving it back. Almost certainly Challenger has seen me move it up now, which is a bit of an issue. There's still a Stormer here. GR7 was probably looking for a kill there and is now looking for other things, now that the YPR is of course hidden, or it can come in for fire position, and that is what we see here. Let's see if Challenger gets it right. 1, 2, 3, 4 projectiles from that plane, and unfortunately not good enough cluster there on that bombing run to have success. And my Block 10 of all things was able to come in here and combine with the Stinger team, take down that plane. So a little bit of throwing away planes from both sides of the field today, which, you know, that does happen. It's pretty common. I really don't like leaning on planes in this game, but you know, sometimes you have to, and sometimes it really can make a big difference. So don't read that as planes always bad, 'cause that's not true. But certainly planes can be really swingy, and we see that in today's game. So what was supposed to be a surefire CV kill, pretty much for both of us, was not my ATGM plane, his GR7. Really some rough trading there going on. So Chinook HC1s, you won't see these all the time either, but honestly, I didn't have the tools to punish it. It could just be this is armored deck shenaniganry where I don't really have good AA nut up. It could also have been, my style of play at the time was not the most AA heavy, and here is where I wanted that Block 10 to take out a Stormer. So that should be a right click, but it's actually really goofy. There's enough AA here. I lose it before the Stormer even gets clustered, and it was on target. So it would have been quite nice. That's actually a kill. That surprised me. So I didn't expect the Block 10 to kill a 3 top armor tank, but it was close enough clustering there, like every single one of those cluster bombs nailed right on top of that tank. So decently effective. With 17 minutes left, I am, of course, down by 174 points, which is not a recipe for success. Also, you have to ask yourself, how do you get back into the game with Tick at this point, right? So I have Delta, I have Foxtrot, but I don't really have Delta. I don't have this town. I do, of course, lose my own CV there as well, and as soon as Challenger gets a replacement CV, that +1 tick is going to be +2 in his favor, yet again, not for the first time, but for the second time in this game today. So my 2A5s are rotating over. I've basically given up completely on Alpha, and I wonder if you guys have realized yet what I'm going to try to do. Because really, the Grenadiers getting through here, and the Amex prop getting a couple of kills, is going to define the new way that we're going to be pushing here in the last end of this match. And this is a complete desperation move, so again, just goofy stuff. I really was on the back foot from the very first minutes of this game all the way through to the end here. But my Grenadiers are safe, and these guys have medium optics. They won't be able to see everything, but I know that at least close by here in these hedges, there's not a lot of stuff. So that is going to be why everything here is getting redirected. We're skirting the edge of Delta. We're going to go right through 1, 2 replacement Stormers here for my illustrious opponent. And I was pretty much, I think I was out of cluster planes at this point. If I had one left, it was certainly only one left, pretty much, not anything more than that. And the Block 15 OCUs are also, I think, a little bit running thin. So my tools to handle this were running very thin. I think this M110 buy should have been at the 5-minute mark, because these Stormers have been stationary for quite a while. Of course, you can get some nice shots in there, but you really need 2, because the delay on the M110s is enough. We nearly hit that thing dead on, and it still had time to move because I only had the 1 M110 shooting at it. 2 of them, much more reliable snipers, because it's just a little bit faster follow up there. So this is maybe my last Block 10 coming in here. taking advantage of the fact that the Stormer this time is shooting at the ground instead of the air, so we avoid shots from that first Stormer, we get the kill. Very nice, starting to pick off these tools, but with 14 minutes left, it has to be very quick, and here I make a critical mistake. So Dutch armor doesn't really have very good anti-air, and I had brought up a single double stack of stingers to take this stuff out. We get the recon helo, but that's the second missile that's pounded right into my 2A5s, third one coming in. That's another hit right there, and again, I don't know if this was because it was only displaying one or not, but I think those all pounded into the same tank. So, Eugen Wargame bugs, this is sort of a unique version of it. I'd never seen this bug since, and I'd never seen it before. Although I think I'm supposed to say that the other way around. I've never seen it before or since. Anyway, English is hard. So, not quite sure what was going on there with it, and we have a lot of presence up in Charlie. So, Natra, AMX Pre, AMX 13, FL15s. I was looking for that CV here, hoping to get a kill on it, hoping to shift things sideways, because at this point, if I could shift things sideways, maybe I could get a pick on that CV tank here. Maybe we take down one Challenger 2, just because I don't think Challenger, my opponent, quite knew what to do to handle this at the time, and taking advantage of your opponent's what the hell is going on moment is very, very powerful. But another mistake, my Stinger's getting killed by autocannons, and this is my only anti-air, so I should have taken probably another double stack of Stingers up forward, because instead I'm going to get pounded into by these Lynx H7 TOW 2s. One of the 2A5s is dead, AMX 13 FL15s taking fire I can't afford to be taking right now, and retreating backwards, presenting side armor to everything here in the woods. Now they're just scimitars, it's not the end of the world here, but it certainly is less than comfortable, and I still have to keep facing that TOW 2 because he is just laser focused on the 2A5NL. So that single TOW 2 really, I think, prevented me from getting fire support right overlooking this reinforcement road, from getting the double 2A5 up here, and maybe even looking at killing the fob, certainly looking at moving over farther into Charlie. By the way, most people cap on the near side of Charlie from where I'm looking right now, but here I think we had from Challenger a cap, yeah, right here, right next to the road. Pretty creative spot. Usually the usual suspects are like right here, maybe right here, maybe somewhere in here, and the fact that it was that far over kept me from getting fire on it for, I mean, more than long enough, right? 258 to 0 with 12 minutes left is pretty tough. 2A5NL, very damaged here. AMX Prats actually used a lot of their ATGMs, have gotten some good kills. I don't mind these vehicles for 25 points. Yeah, it's low AP, but they're looking for side shots. They have 3 front armor, and they're annoying. They're really, really annoying. So another thing too, the M110s not firing as often as they should be, not firing together, which is a bit of an issue. And finally we get eyes on that Sultan, and I was really hoping the AMX Prats might be able to take care of it. Down to one health, because of course 2 frontal armor is not 1 tap by 15, it's 2 tap by 15 AP heat. So we did land 1 hit there, not 2, and it buys me a little bit of time at +0, but +0 is no longer good enough. So I have Hawk Pips moving up. They should have been up with this push a little bit earlier. Block 15 OCU going in for the kill here, gets it, and looking for the Stormer besides, but nope, double miss right there, and the Stormer survives. So I don't know, at least we got the kill there. It's not the end of the world, but what is the end of the world? My Challenger 2, sorry, my 2A5NL taken out by a Challenger 2 that has just been a brutal menace the entire game. Goodness gracious, man. Goodness gracious sakes alive. I just had nothing to answer the tank play here, which, you know, that happens. This game also encouraged me to sort of focus on learning the opener in Delta a little bit more. And since then, I think I've gotten far better at it, but it is just really tough. Like, it's really, really tough and so swingy in this map. You either win the opener or you have a really, really rough game. Now, one silver lining, that kaboom right there was the Challenger 2. So finally, we've both lost both of our super heavies. Just wish that it hadn't come at such a cost. And because Delta is capped for my opponent and not for me, Alpha's capped for him and not for me. I don't know what the hell this Verkenning's doing over here. He's kind of drunk. Should probably tell him to go home, but you know, he's just chilling, he's hanging out. He's getting line of sight between right here and right here, because why the hell not? This is, you know, I think I even said at the time, I think this is probably over, but, you know, we try. We stay in it. We keep looking for that win, even if it is a little bit unlikely. I have a Stinger team here. I have some more Chaff, the Hawk Pips, and a Leopard 1 NLCO, which is a command tank. Hoping to cap Charlie, really just to make a statement here, just to say, hey, for just a couple of seconds, this zone is going to tick blue, because I say so, and because why the hell not? So, looking for that cap. YPR also looking to cap on the top side of Delta now, instead of over near that town where my opponent has fire control. Block 10, hoping for a cheeky kill here, and We do get the recon helo, which was a little bit goofy. These guys do have air-to-air, not the most, but you can see now the effect also of peeling off those stormers. There's nothing really shooting at these guys, so I have an F-104G now. It feels relatively safe. We're looking for that TOW 2 kill, 75 points of course, 6 strength, so the 104G can one past this guy if both missiles hit. 1 hit, 2, there it is. I love the 104Gs, as you guys know, very much a fan of that plane. Very fun plane indeed, and yeah, I think a Verkenning up here a little bit earlier would have been quite nice. They definitely bully these scimitars, but because I didn't have them, I have nothing really to handle this. No recon at all other than the Boa 105 CB, which is too far back. This thing has very good optics, but even that has its limits. And my YPR is, yet again, I just didn't have the best positioning with it, not able to get it into the woods, into the hedgerows right off the bat. So we've actually taken a lot of damage right there, and I have basically 2 areas to protect with a single AMX-13 FL-12, which, I don't know if you've ever tried that. It's not going to work out as well as one might hope. Block 10's looking for the kills here, and I think these are Warrior Milans, maybe? Let's take a look. No, Chieftain Mark 11. Yeah. Pretty goofy. Pretty good gun, too. Yeah. Well, anyway, we got the kill there, and with 6 minutes left in this game, I finally stopped the tick again, but... goodness gracious. Yeah, there it is. Losing that. Capping here. Well, should be capping here. Yeah, there it is. See, it's blue. We did it, boys. We did it. Even for just a solitary minute here. And, yeah, I mean, that was very satisfying when it happened. One goofy thing. I think we actually end up trading positive. There's the enemy CV. He realizes it's spotted with the Who's Iran. He's moving it back. And playing just a little bit scared here in the last couple minutes, because, of course, losing it in the last couple minutes does feel pretty rough, and things are getting very sparse. But a nice call on the track rapiers FSAs. That was, I mean, geez. I guess we took him out, eh? But, yeah. You know, plane trains at the end. I don't think either armor deck really has the best anti-air tools, and we've killed, what, 5 or 6 stormers by now? Certainly 5, maybe 6. So, whew. This, I mean, it's been a little while since I played Dutch Armored, but I do really miss it. I captured the Chinook, by the way, just having a good time there. And, yeah, I don't know, this was, I've been saying I was going to cast this game for months now, and I'm really glad that I finally did, because, you know, it's not traditional, it's not meta decks, it's not anything like that. Certainly Dutch Armored versus UK Armored is not meta at all, but honestly, some of those games are some of the most fun, and the shenanigans with capping Charlie, I mean, where else do you see this cap pattern on Mudfight? Like, oh, this is mine, nothing else is, but this is. It was really a fun game to play. So, more Track Rapier FSAs. Honestly, it would have been nice to see these a little bit earlier, I think, because I've been plane spamming now for at least 10 or 12 minutes. It's too little too late. So, that is going to wrap things up. Let's take a look at the kills losses. By the way, autocannons versus CV armor, you can get the kill there faster than you might think. And that is going to be it for this game today. So, the really goofy part is I did go positive, so 3895 to 3500 is a wider gap than it felt like in that game, and certainly this is a case of, you know, play the game mode as well. So Challenger got map control, I didn't. Even when I had good trades at the end of that match, it wasn't enough to get me enough of the map to come back, and there wasn't enough time for it either. So maybe with another 10 minutes it could have been a closer conquest point score, but as it was, very much ball in my opponent's court there. So units that did very well, the 2A5s really didn't do that bad. I mean, no super heavy kills does kind of hurt, but if you add all this up, it is pretty significant. The Warrior Milans, the Centurion Avers, more Warriors, just basic Warriors, but still 15 points per kill. Chieftain Mark 5's cheap, but 2 of them, they do add up quite a bit. The other 2A5 did okay, not quite as good as the previous. And really our money makers here in terms of kill and losses were the Block 10s performed way above my expectations. So Harrier GR7 kill, Command Chieftain Mark 10, Stormer, Gazelle even, a lot of good success off of those, and the Block 15 OCUs did very well. Yeah, I only wish I'd gotten the M110s out earlier, because look at that, Stormer, Chinook, and this was not the most active M110 I've ever had. So that's going to be all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.